Let's automate taxes at the item level. So when you're making sales, for example, if I am selling this Toyota Axo, I would not like to leave it for the people, for the people doing the sales to decide how they are going to put in tax information. For example, let me show you. If I come to the same sales invoice that we have here, I select, I create a new sales invoice here, and this is my customer, for example, and then I put in our Axo, right? You notice that down here in the sales and taxes table we have nothing, so we can leave this open so that people can actually select the amounts that they want and put in this. But you notice that this is probably going to be a bit tricky for these people. So how do you automate all that? In this item master, we have this tax field here, I mean the tax tab. So what you need to do is you need to add a new table here. You can see by default there is the Kenya tax. So this ERPNext created this when I was creating setting up this instance, and it will do so for you also. So if for example you are in a different country, it is going to do that. So if this is only applicable in some tax category, you can put that. That is if you have created a tax category. Remember, we only did tax category only one tax category called VAT exempt. All right. So if you'd like this to be in other different tax categories, for example, remember when I talked about VAT exempt, I talked about zero rated items, I talked about now the things that are actually supposed to be taxed. You can have multiples here, so that you have that one for that, the other for VAT exempt, the other for that, and the other for that. So you can define all those tax templates and call them VAT exempt templates, and all so on and so forth. We are going to come back to those details in a later video. If this is valid from from a specific date, you can do that. For example, when the government changes things and tells you that from 1st of January next year, this and this is going to start happening. So you can already go on, define that into your ERPNext, and ERPNext will be ready for January next year, as an example. So if you have a minimum net rate, for example, when you say this 16% is only applicable for items that are above 1,000 shillings, you need to put here 1,000 as the net rate, and then here you have if there is a maximum, you can also go ahead and put that maximum there. So that's a very, very comprehensive table, but only if it is applicable. I mean, to all tax categories. If there's no valid date, so it is going to start immediately, and no minimums. So even if it's 1 shilling or maybe 10 shillings, it's going to still apply this VAT. You leave everything else blank and only select this. Then you go ahead and save. With that setting now, if we go back to the same sales invoice that we had, and we come down here, let me just make sure I have a customer here. I pick my customer, I come down here and select my Toyota Axo. You notice that down here we are supposed to have this selected. Let me just save it and see. So you see that down here VAT has automatically been applied. So we have this applying 400 shillings, and therefore the total for this becomes 2,500 plus 400, which is 2,900. Now we are going to come into the details of this VAT, because it could be maybe the 16% is VAT inclusive, right? So it's not supposed to be 2,900, but it's supposed to compute so that the total plus VAT is 2,500, and then compute this amount. We are going to come into those details in a later video. So when you have this setting done at the item level, what you do is that you're going to save your time, you're going to prevent mistakes, and then you're going to keep compliant, right? The other thing that we can look at here today is the barcode section. So let's go back to the details here, and I'm going to take you down to, that should be inventory, and I'm going to take you down to barcodes. So barcodes are going to come in handy when you are, for example, using something like, let's say, POS, and you don't want people to start looking for things, because you know, when you're looking for of items can take time. So you want fast warehouse picking, you need to use barcodes, and then of course barcodes are going to significantly reduce human errors. So you could have a barcode like 121212, and then you need to select the barcode type. It could be anything, and then here you need to specify the units of measure, because remember, you could have a barcode for your number, a part number, and you could have a barcode for your box, so, or your carton. So you need to set up all those barcodes here. So for example, I can say that one is for my number, and then 23232323. You can use the same is for my carton. I think we created a carton here. So that way, anytime I scan something with 23, the system knows that with this barcode, the system knows that that's a carton, so it will deduct one carton. Every time I scan this one, it is going to deduct one number. So we can go ahead and save that. EN, well, you can change this to something else. Let's see, maybe ISBN, and then I can also change this to ISBN. So you can go ahead and save that. Well, that does not accept that also. I'm not sure which one to pick here. Say JN. Let's see whether that works. Well, we can even delete one of them, and yeah, that works. So we can go ahead and return our 2323232, and then this is JN, and maybe it's a carton. Amazing. Then we save it also. The last thing that I want us to do in this video is the item templates. There is one very important checkbox we left at the details. This has variants. And because I had promised that we are going to look at it, it is time that we look at it. So if I check this is variants, you're going to notice that this tab shows up. This tab for variants. If I remove it, you notice that the tab goes away. So what are variants? ERPNext is giving us a description here that this is used if this item has variants, then it can be selected in sales orders etc. Well, that's not very clear. What this is variant does is that a variant is something that like a color, like size, and so on and so forth. Let's say, for example, you're selling clothing and you're selling maybe a shirt size small in black, white, maroon, and so on and so forth. So those colors are variants for your products, and therefore when you pick this, you come to variants. This table it shows up, and you can see you can have variants per manufacturer or per item attribute. So manufacturer is ideally when, for example, for this AXO you have one from manufacturer ABC and the other one from manufacturer XYZ. So it's the same item, but there are different variant, which is a manufacturer. But item attributes apply the most here. Okay, item attribute, you can see we have size and color. Of course, you can create more. So let's say, for example, color, and here we can put that the item attribute is that one. Okay, and then we can have another one, maybe the same color, color not size, color, and the item that we are talking about here is this one, right? So when you do that, and you are going to be selling, these items are going to be showing. Item value is supposed to be able to be, is supposed to allow us to pick. It's supposed to allow us to pick the item value. So here you need white, black, red, and so on and so forth. All right. So we are going to get into also the details of this in a future video. The most important thing that I want you to notice here is that you must use variants only when the structure is consistent. So if the structure of what you are doing, the item that you're setting here is not so consistent, I would advise that you avoid using item variants. Also, make sure you do not overuse them. They can cause serious confusion in the team. So only use them very sparingly. And when, again, the structure is extremely consistent. And that completes the item master. If items are clean, stock is accurate, profits are reliable, and operations are smooth. In the next module, we'll use these items, the items that we just created now, in real transactions.